Everyone could take their seats, please. I call to order the meeting of the School Board Community Unit School District 201, today, March 20th, 2012. Roll call, please.
Mr. Armstrong?
Here.
Ms. Caparelli? Here. Mr. Charleston?
Here.
Mrs. Charlton?
Here.
Mrs. Hancock?
Here.
Mr. Price?
Here.
Mrs. Thomas?
Here.
We could stand for the Pledge of Allegiance, please.
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
First item on the agenda are the approval of minutes. And in your orange folder is a copy of the closed session for the February 14th, 2012 meeting. Has everyone had a chance to take a look at that? It was not in your board docs. So then the chair will entertain a motion to approve the minutes of the closed session of the February 14th, 2012 regular meeting of the Board of Education as presented.
So moved. Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? No. Okay, February 28th. The chair will entertain a motion to approve the minutes of the February 28th, 2012 regular meeting of the Board of Education as presented.
So moved. Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
And Judy, I'll abstain. The chair will entertain a motion to approve the minutes of the closed session of the February 28th, 2012 regular meeting of the Board of Education as presented.
So moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
And I will also abstain. Then March 6th, the chair will entertain a motion to approve the minutes of the March 6th, 2012 special meeting of the Board of Education as presented.
So moved.
Second?
All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? And the chair will entertain a motion to approve the minutes of the closed session of the March 6, 2012 special meeting of the Board of Education as presented.
So
Go ahead.
So moved.
Second?
All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay, public comments. I have one card here. Loretta, please.
Yeah, I'm still astounded at the vote last week to approve the bond without all the questions answered. So I have a question, and I understand you don't have to answer it, but Daniel, I was wondering if you got your concerns addressed, and do we have to worry about our bond issue?
I appreciate the question, and I think the short answer is yes. There's still ongoing conversations, but I'm not discomfited at this point about, the bonds. There's questions, but they're not, I'm not discomfited.
Cool, thank you.
Are there any other public comments? The next item is the consent agenda. I just had one comment on the approval of the student tour request. I was just, really happy to see this information about the Operation Snowflake and to see how many of our junior high students. I counted up 109 students from the junior high. So that is just phenomenal. So, and I know the snowball was just this past weekend, and considering that it was 85 out and they had snowball, that was wonderful. So that was just a comment that I had.
I had a question about the calendar.
Sure.
Can you explain the process? I mean, how do you get that group together? Who is that group?
The way that the group is put together, and this is part of the negotiated agreement with the WTA, the WTA selects a couple of individuals. They had 2 people, and then administratively we had 2 representatives. We also ask if the WESPA or if the Maintenance Custodial Association would like to have a representative, and they declined. So they do have that opportunity. And then there are some parameters that they have to follow. We have to be in attendance so many days. We can only have so many institute days, those types of things. But based upon that, and because of our projects this summer, the start of the school year, we wanted to push that back a little bit. So a little less flexibility than normal. And then they poll the membership and come up with ideas for breaks and when those institute days should fall, those types of things. And then they bring 2 options to the board for the board to consider and then approve. And with the 2 options that you have in front of you, option A is what the committee, the WTA membership, they prefer A over B. But essentially, and the difference between A and B, with A, we're in session the Monday after Easter, and with B, we would not be in session the Monday after Easter. And that does change the end day instead of June 5th. If you go with option A, we're out June 5th for students without any emergency days. With the Easter holiday, or the Easter Monday, I guess, you would be out June 6th.
Do both options have finals before break?
Yes, the high school is planning on doing finals before break regardless of which option.
That's all I had.
Did you want to comment at all about
Oh, sure. And then with the amended calendar as well, it's being amended for 2 purposes. One is because this time of year, especially with the spring that we've had, we no longer have to worry about the emergency days. So we're amending our calendar to remove those days from the calendar. And then the other piece that was mentioned to the board was that in order to prepare our staff for our new evaluation tool next fall, we're working with the CEC on 2 staff development days for our staff, and that will be April 12th and May 2nd. We're adding 2 SIP days, so 2 early releases, so we'll make sure that we communicate that to our parents and to our schools. But with this approval, then, we would be adding those 2 early releases for the second semester.
And with this approval, in terms of next year's calendar, would that be also shared?
Right, we will publish that on our website and communicate that as well.
Okay. I know for one that I know there have been a number of people asking what would the
right.
start date be, and so both
spring break.
And spring break. So both of the option A and option B are still first day of attendance, August 29th.
Right.
So, okay, any other questions? Okay, the chair will entertain a motion to approve the consent agenda as presented. Number 1, personnel recommendations. 2, approval of student tour request. 3, approval of IHSA membership. Oh, we didn't, number 4.
Oh, that's the SACID representative right now. Joel is
yeah.
our representative, and Mary Kay is the alternate, and unless,
Did you
Fine
want
with staying on as
to
a-
continue? And
I'm good with
okay, so then for number 4, appointment of SACID representative and alternate, we will continue with Mr. Price and Ms. Caprilli. Thank you. 5, approval of SACID classroom lease agreement. 6, approval of amended 2011 through 2012 school calendar. 7, approval of 2012-2013 school calendar. 8, approval of March 2012 expenditure report. And 9, ratification of February 2012 regular payroll.
Yeah. One quick question, we're going to go with option A?
Option A.
Yes,
Option
okay.
A. Thank you, option A.
So moved?
Second.
And roll call, please, Mrs. McMahon?
Mr. Armstrong?
Yes.
Ms. Caparelli?
Yes.
Mr. Charleston?
Yes.
Mrs. Charlton?
Yes.
Mrs. Hancock?
Yes.
Mr. Price?
Yes.
Mrs. Thomas?
Yes.
Okay, then we'll have the presentation of monthly financial statements.
Okay. All the financial statements were included in your packet this month. Again, lunch report. We're still having expenditures outweigh revenues, but we're doing better than we were last year in that regard. And then in terms of financial statements, there's really nothing new or exciting to report this month. It's pretty much status quo. The state still owes the district money for in the education and in the transportation fund. So $274,000 in the ed fund and just under $93,000 in the transportation fund, for a total of approximately $367,000 that we're waiting on, that the state has vouchered but hasn't released to us. Revenues are, trending as expected, and so are expenditures at this point. So that's really all the information I have for this month. Does everyone have any questions?
Nothing exciting, okay. Great. Superintendent's report?
Superintendent's report, Climate Committee, because of some conflicts, we're actually meeting tomorrow night with that group. And again, they're continuing their work to develop some ideas for a bullying awareness or anti-bullying week, however you want to phrase that. Some website or resources for staff, for students, for parents, and then also developing some resources that can also be utilized in the classroom as well. So they'll be continuing their work tomorrow. And we're hoping, we have a meeting scheduled for April and May that we can wrap up and make some recommendations. The facility planning, Steve Cashman is working fast and furious, I can assure you, to make sure that he has all the bids out and we get our information in time for our second board meeting in April, and he'll bring that information forward. We still haven't been able to settle on a date. We want to have an evening where we're able to provide that information to community members, and so, but as soon as and that'll be prior to that April board meeting, so we'll make sure that that timing of it happens before then. So we'll make sure that we get that done as well. And then the last item I have, last board meeting, the board approved the hiring of Kristen Kretzel as our principal for Manning, and then John Jonak, the principal for our junior high. And we're going to have, prior to our April 10th board meeting, we'll have a reception for them at 6 o'clock here. We'll have cake, coffee, those types of things. It'll be an opportunity for the board to meet our two new hires, and then also any community members who would like to meet our principals as well. So we'll have that prior to the April 10th board meeting.
And that will be right here.
Right here,
before
right
our
next
board
door. There's that room.
Do you want to remind me about dinner?
Oh, sure.
We'll do it when it calls.
Yeah, we can do it then, yeah.
Okay. Are there any board reports?
The only thing I would add is junior high's production of Music Man was very, very nice. A lot of hard work from our students, staff, and parent volunteers. And I saw it both nights, and both were great. So thank you to all who worked on that.
Yes, it was very good. Okay, are there any public comments? All right, then the chair will entertain a motion to enter closed session for the purpose of discussing collective bargaining and personnel issues.
So moved.
Second.
Roll call, please.
Mrs. Thomas?
Yes.
Mr. Price?
Yes.
Mrs. Hancock?
Yes.
Mrs. Charlton?
Yes.
Mr. Charleston?
Yes.
Ms. Caparelli?
Yes.
Mr. Armstrong?
Yes.
Okay, and there will not be a vote. Thank you.